Hey everyone, GuardianE here with another live reaction and first impression video for Fire Emblem Heroes, and today we are getting the reveal of the next legendary hero to drop into the game in just a few short days. So I'm not looking at my screen, I'm going to press play and we're going to be surprised by the reveal at the same time. So let's get started. Alright. Okay, it's gone. So I'm looking back up here, a new legendary hero joins the battle. And... ooh, okay, an archer. Oh, it's Claude! Oh, okay, well, King of Unification. All this music. Okay, he's a flying archer, which makes a lot of sense. Failnaught, of course. Attack speed catch 4. Now, what is that about? Fallen Star. That art is beautiful. Oh, he does a little flip! Look at that. Alright, and yeah, that's fine. He's clearly got some damage reduction, because that did, like, no damage. These heroes also appear in this event. Gonna be Legendary Tiki along the way. Freed, okay. Got some Naga action. Leaf, alright. Altina. So colorless is already looking good. Annette, Milla, okay. Selef. Hell on green, Melody, Triandra. Is that it? That is it, as if that isn't enough. Okay, at that 8% of course, and starting on the 25th and ending on the 3rd. So we have a full, or the 3rd of, the 4th of, I can't talk, the 4th of March. So we have basically one full week as usual for this legendary hero banner. And yeah, apparently we are getting Claude, King of Unification. So that is, I mean, we were going to get him eventually. I wasn't sure if we were going to get him right now. I feel like they wouldn't have pushed him too far removed from the other house leaders as far as legendary hero versions. So it does kind of make sense for him to fit in right around now. So I'm not terribly surprised by this pick. But he looks, the art is amazing. I mean, it looks great. Let's go ahead and rewind, take a closer look at his art, take a closer look at his skills, take a closer look at the banner as a whole to evaluate each of the colors to see if I think this is a banner that is worth pulling on. But right out of the gate, I can say that colorless seems pretty stacked. But yeah, let's just rewind and take a closer look, shall we? And here he is, the King of Unification, wielding his Failnaught, of course. No surprises as far as the weapon and movement type. I think much to the chagrin of a lot of people. I think some people are a little upset at the fact that each of the three house leaders basically have kind of rehashes of their movement and weapon type. However, what I will say is that they've differentiated them a lot, at least as far as their Brave versions versus their original Academy versions versus their Legendary Hero versions. So I'm hoping that's the case for Claude here as well. The art is gorgeous. I mean, Claude's a gorgeous man. There's really no denying that. He looks fantastic here. That perfectly tousled hair, that steely-eyed look, that mischievous smirk all comes together. He is kind of playfully handling that arrow. I like the gold accents in the armor that he has, in the pin, in the pauldron on the side as well. And he has kind of neutral colors as far as the rest of his outfit. However, I think that really only serves to enhance and highlight the multicolored waistband that he has around him, which obviously has some cultural significance. It kind of naturally draws your attention to his eyes and his waistband, which is actually kind of a nice touch. So really nice job on the art. Let's take a look at what his skills are all about. Alright, so we got the Failnaught, 14 might. Obviously it is going to be a bow. It's going to be effective against flyers. Accelerate special trigger, cooldown count -1, so it has a killer/slaying effect, which is always good. Effective against flying foes. At start of combat, if units' HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants attack speed, defense res, +5 to unit during combat, and neutralizes effects that guarantee foes' follow-up attacks, and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. Okay, alright. Well, we've already seen how deadly of a combination that particular element on a weapon can be. Let's break that down a little bit. Killer slaying effect is always solid, every single time. That's always good to have as kind of an initial bonus to a weapon. The equal or above 25% is an incredibly easy threshold to meet as far as a condition is concerned, and he gets a whole whopping +5 to all of his stats as an in-combat buff. That's nothing to scoff at. That is very strong. And then neutralizing enemies' follow-up attacks that are guaranteed through skills and effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks during combat. Now, we've seen time and time again how powerful that second part of that skill is when paired with a sweep skill, like a wind sweep, like a water sweep, because essentially what it does is that particular element of the weapon neutralizes the sweep's penalty, essentially, where you can't double or you can't do a follow-up attack, and still allows you to attack without getting counterattacked. So it seems like Claude is probably going to be a pretty proficient user of that skill combination, particularly for his B slot. However, he has a unique B slot, so maybe it's baked into his B slot already. I don't know. We'll have to get there. But already seems pretty strong. Luna for the special. A skill is attack speed catch 4. Okay. At start of combat, if foe's HP is 100%, or if penalty is active on foe. Interesting. Okay. Grants attack speed plus 7 to unit during combat. At start of combat, if foe's HP is equal to 100% and penalty is active on foe, grants an additional attack speed plus 2 to unit during combat. Okay, so that's all right. I feel like it's a little underwhelming as an A slot, only because we have a lot of A slot skills that give either plus 7 to attack and speed or above plus 7 to attack and speed without a lot of conditions attached to it. And then you have these two conditions that aren't that difficult to achieve on the enemy, especially depending on, you can kind of kit your units to make sure that this procs, but still it's conditioned. And those conditions just give you an additional plus 2 to both of those stats. So as a total, you're getting a maximum of plus 9 for this A slot on attack and speed. Which, again, that's not small potatoes or anything, but at the same time, we have skills that are comparable that don't have a lot of conditions attached to it like that. Like, I think, depending on what kind of team you're running, a form skill would work just fine, a bond skill would work just fine, a solo skill would work just fine, and each of those works on both phases. Of course, if you're just going to be player phasing with him, then you could run something like Swift Sparrow 3. So, again, you have a multitude of options. Why they're debuting this particular skill on him, I don't know, but it's fine. I mean, it works perfectly fine. Even attack speed push 4 kind of synergizes with Failnaught, despite the fact that he takes tick damage, because the mere fact that the condition is the same, at least for the boost, is concerned. And most of the time, by the time you reach the 25% health threshold, except for long drawn out fights, small skirmishes are basically already over when you're using that. So let's take a look at Fallen Star for the B slot. So if unit initiates combat, so if Claude is attacking, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 80% during combat, and after combat grants Fallen Star to unit and inflicts gravity on target and foes within one space of target. What is Fallen Star? If for one turn, during unit's first combat in player phase and enemy phase, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 80%. So what that essentially means is that when Claude initiates and player phases on an enemy, he's going to enjoy the 80% damage reduction that's initially granted by Fallen Star. But after combat is over, he's going to get a unique Fallen Star status effect on himself. So this is a unique effect that only he has, wherein the next attack that he takes, essentially in either enemy phase or player phase, is going to be reduced by 80%. But only the first attack of that phase. So, and presumably that stacks with the Fallen Star effect. So let's say that Claude doesn't attack or doesn't get attacked enemy phase for that turn. I think he'll still have the Fallen Star effect on him, so that when he initiates on the next attack, he's going to get the effects of his B slot Fallen Star, as well as the status effect Fallen Star. So it's going to be multiplicatively boosted, I think. If I'm reading this right, maybe I'm reading it wrong. And if I am, I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments. Obviously, it's not additive, but that's a huge amount of damage reduction, essentially, for the next time he initiates, if it does work that way. So, I mean, that's really powerful. And the mere fact that he has gravity alone has such ingrained utility on such a bevy of maps and challenges and different configurations. I mean, it's just so useful to have gravity on such a powerful damage dealer. And then having this baked-in additional damage reduction is also just absurd. I mean, it's just very, very strong. Now, at the same time, this B-slot has a lot of really, really unique utility that I think is very potent and works it very well with Failnaught. At the same time, I think, depending on the challenge, you could probably swap out Fallen Star if you don't need that utility for a sweep skill, for a wind sweep or a water sweep, which would essentially let him have a fire sweep Failnaught. So that's certainly an option for him as well. So you can play him either way. And this Fallen Star, again, I like the fact that it has a lot of unique applications to it, because that just enhances Claude's overall longevity and future-proofs him a little bit in the context of what he brings to the table, and I always think that's a good thing. So yeah, Fallen Star definitely seems like a potent ability, but just bear in mind that it is going to be on player phase specifically, so he does not get any benefits from Fallen Star when he's enemy phasing for the first time, and he has no Fallen Star status effect on himself. And then for his C-slot, Speed Defense Reign 3, inflicts Speed Defense -4 on foes within 2 spaces during combat. That's perfect for him, lets him do more damage, gives him a higher chance to double, and if we were using Water Sweep or Wind Sweep, it would also help to enable that, or help him meet the condition for that skill. So yeah, all in all, I think he's decked out with a pretty powerful kit. He is differentiated from his Brave version, which is, I think, a little bit more focused on sustain, whereas this version is kind of utility-based. Again, doing the damage reduction and then doing the gravity effect. I mean, those are really powerful. And if you just wanted him to do raw damage, you could do that too. You can function like that just fine. The fact that he has Killer Slaying, the fact that he has those stat boosts, the fact that he can pair it with Wind Sweep or Water Sweep, all of those things are very potent things. So, and then of course he's part of a movement weapon combination that's not the most common out there. Certainly we have more representation now, including another Claude. But at the same time, I don't think it's so oversaturated that he has too much competition in that arena. At least that would meet his level of stats and proficiency. So yeah, let's keep going. Check out his attacking art as well. Yeah, he's looking far more serious here, but just as dashing. He is leaping forward, his cape behind him, billowing back. Yeah, awesome action pose. I think he looks fantastic. So let's keep at it. See him do that awesome flip in the air. And so this is going to be him attacking, but I guess this is Vantage? Like the enemy has... No, they don't have Vantage. I don't know why they're attacking first. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it shows the damage reduction, essentially. So let's take a look at the color representation on the banner. So if we start with Claude, who is the marquee character, of course, this being his debut, he is going to be colorless, and he is going to be alongside Mila and Leaf. That's pretty decked out. That's a pretty powerful combination of units, all legendary/mythic heroes, so they all have, inherent value and limitedness in that capacity, but all the same, Claude, again, seems to be extremely versatile and has a lot of unique utility. Leaf still is very powerful in what he can do, and Mila is also actually still also a very unique and interesting unit that provides different utility that's not currently available really anywhere else in the game. So those three together make a pretty tempting combination on the colorless path. So if we take a look at green next, we've got Hel, as well as Annette and Triandra. So that's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. I wouldn't put it up to the level of colorless personally, I don't think. Hel has Guard Bearing, which we do have more of now, but it was pretty exclusive to her for a while, or at least difficult to get for a while. She actually is pretty difficult to kill with certain combinations, so she's pretty strong. Annette has also actually pretty unique utility now that I'm thinking about it. She's very sneaky in her weapon ability, granting additional movement, which can be used to great effect in Ether Raids. Triandra is an excellent support dancer, flying green dancer, which can't be understated. So green has a lot of good offerings. There's nothing bad about green. The fact that Annette is in the regular pool, I do place value on limitedness of units. So the fact that Annette is there and will be on other, probably more frequent banners at a higher rate does weigh into that. So I would say that green is under colorless, but it's still a pretty strong showing. If we take a look at red, we've got Altina, we've got Freed, and we've got Seliph. So they're all mythic/legendary heroes, which is good. Seliph is relatively new. Freed is pretty old, and Altina is somewhere in the middle. I will say that despite Freed being on the older side, he is potent in what he is able to do. So I think I would actually put red on the same level as green, or maybe a little bit under green. But they're close. And maybe that's my flyer bias showing, because there are 2 flyers on green and only 1 on red, but at least that's just kind of how I'm seeing it. And then for blue, we have Legendary Tiki, we have Naga, and we have Melody. So Honestly, blue's probably the weakest color of this banner. Legendary TQ is a pretty old legendary hero. I think she's honestly still pretty strong. People like to armchair strategize about how she has a dual weakness as a dragon and as an armor unit. And while that's true, I think she is still just a nice unit to have, especially if you need to for certain conditions of quests and things like that. So I think she's useful to have for sure. Naga, I think, gets a bad rap. I think she's more useful than people give her credit for, but at the same time, she's not, like, spectacular, especially when comparing her to a lot of these other units that are on this banner. And then Melody is available, I think, just in the general pool. Of course, she is not a limited unit, but she does have some nice skills. And of course, if you like Melody, then that's obviously bonus points for blue there. But overall, I would say that blue is probably a little bit down as far as the rankings are concerned. So the way that I would evaluate this, colorless is actually pretty up there, and then below that, a good notch is going to be green, and then right under that might be red, and then a couple of a notch or two down is going to be blue at that point. So that's my overall evaluation of the color distribution. Now, please bear in mind, for people that are new to Legendary Hero banners, that 8% 5-star focus is split across the 12 units that are here, meaning that each unit has about a 0.66% chance of appearing in each stone when you get into a circle, and then obviously that's enhanced by color sniping. General rule of thumb is, before you snipe on a color, you should want at least 2 of the units on that color, so that you would be fine getting either of those units. That's, again, general understanding of leaving a Legendary Hero banner or picking which color you want to summon on, and if you want to dive in on a specific color. Alright, so starting on the 25th and running for essentially a week's time, for me personally, as beautiful of a man Claude is, and how cool his skills are, actually, I think they're very unique and interesting. I don't think I'm going to be summoning on this particular banner. For colorless, I actually have the other 2 colorless units, and I don't really want additional copies of them. Certainly wouldn't mind getting Claude, but that's not enough for me to summon on for colorless alone. I would rather wait for a return where he might be paired with units that I don't have. And then as far as the other, I have most of the other units on here that strike my fancy in general, so I'm probably not going to be summoning. I will be using my free summon, and that'll be included in my Poverty Polls video for the month of February. Something else that is worth noting is that A Hero Rises, the voting gauntlet, is going to be live, I believe, while this banner is live. And I think that we'll probably have a good idea of who the top 4 are going to be based upon the participation of A Hero Rises voting gauntlet. So remember that next month, A Hero Rises is going to have its own focus banner where the top 4 of the voting gauntlet are going to be on that banner as focus units. So, and then we're also going to get a seasonal and a new hero banner. So again, there's a lot of stuff on the horizon. So, just be careful with your orbs. And again, especially in light of the fact that A Hero Rises is such a tempting venture, given that each of those units is probably going to be pretty darn strong, and probably fan favorites. So regardless, let me know in the comments below if you're excited for this banner, if you're excited for Legendary Hero Claude. Let me know who you're going to be summoning for, which units or colors you're going to be picking as you are summoning. I wish you the best of luck in your summons. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave us a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more Fire Emblem Heroes content. We thank you all so much for watching and for taking time out of your day to spend with us. We really do appreciate it. Certainly hoping you're all staying safe, healthy, secure, and united out there, and wishing the very, very best for you, your family, and your friends. And until next time, let's protect those skies.